ISO FileMaker Magazine, the professional's resource for FileMaker know-how. Hey there, this is Matt Petrowski for ISO FileMaker Magazine. We're just going to take a quick little trip into FileMaker, take a look at its new ability to manage custom functions, see what we lost, but we've got a nice little thing that we're going to learn here in this video. Let's head to my desktop, take a look at the file. All right, thanks for joining me here on my desktop. Like you, I like to know what's going on in FileMaker. I like to know the underneath the hood things, why they work the way they work. So over here, I have a copy of FileMaker 21, and here I have a copy of FileMaker 22. So I'm going to create a file in FileMaker 21. We're going to go up to the Create New. I am going to click on the ever familiar blank right there and click Create. We will create that right here in this folder called Custom Functions, and I will just call this Functions for simplicity, and we'll say Save. That will put all of my default fields, and we will be able to go in and manage things. Now, before I head into the custom functions, which we currently cannot open this file. It is currently opened in FileMaker 21. I can't just open it over here. Can't open the same file in two places. What we're going to do is create a couple of custom functions, but before I do that, what we're going to take a look at is something that has long been the case with FileMaker to prove a given point of how things have to be implemented. So FileMaker is a relatively old application, if you want to put it that way, created in the 80s originally, but it just continues to carry forward. I'm opening up the script workspace. Now, one of the things I have installed here in FileMaker, if I go to the settings and we go to the plugins area, and then in the plugins, we have the MBS plugin right there. I won't develop in FileMaker without it. I click on the little configure option right here, and when that comes up, we have one of these options which is normally going to be turned off. It is that one right there that I just highlighted on screen. Show script IDs in the workspace. Now, this may be checked off when you install MBS, which is free, by the way. Initially, I like to turn that on because I do a lot of my development by using internal IDs. When you use internal IDs, how you name things doesn't matter, because if you change the name, having used the ID, it will always resolve and you're able to get that. I have a set of functions I use, spawned off from Fabrice Norman and then broken out by Jeremy Bonte. Absolutely wonderful. But watch this. We're going to create a new script, and we're going to see that that's script 1. And then we're going to create another script right here, and I'm going to need to rename this. Now, Monkey Bread, these IDs, Monkey Bread is showing the IDs, they are determined based on the uniqueness of the name. I'm wondering whether it's reading the whole catalog. So it's only if I give this new script a completely unique name that Monkey Bread is now able to see this different ID. Now, there's this option up here right there where you can insert a separator. So when I insert that separator, what happens, it is almost identically the same as clicking the plus. So this and this are no different. In fact, this is a script right here that if I what they did is they disabled your ability to make this line a script. But I promise you, it is a script that you would be able to have steps in it if you, say, for example, we're able to get it onto the clipboard, what have you, because we can see that when we click plus again and we call this script let's call it the third script, and let's see if it lies to us. What's that? Number 4 in terms of the internal ID for the script is assigned to my third script. So what happens is this line is actually a script. And that is no different with custom functions. The way that Claris engineers have to implement additions for these convenience things that help us with organization are actually, in fact, placeholders of the exact same thing. And we are going to be able to see that by going into our functions. I have a shortcut key, which I will simply just bring that up. Otherwise, if you don't know where it is, it's under Manage, and then it would be under Custom Functions right here is where you would get to that. And we're going to create a new function. We're going to call it 1. All right, just a quick little interruption right here. You can already see what I have on screen, and you already know that I'm going to promote fmcloud.fm. Now, why am I promoting it? because it's the hosting provider that I use for my own FileMaker solutions. Now, why is that? Number one, it's because they use containers. If you're not familiar, they're not spinning up a full virtual machine over on AWS. You don't have to manage it. You don't have to manage the infrastructure. FM Cloud has taken care of that for you. Because you're running in your own little container, you just have access to your standard FileMaker admin console, and you're able to upload, download your own databases. They take care of the backups. They take care of the infrastructure. You can have your own secure certificate, no problem. WebDirect, it's all supported. And the second biggest reason I use it, plugins. I use some plugins on my FileMaker server, and that's what FM Cloud allows me to do, because each little container stands isolated from each other container. My files aren't on the same server as somebody else. It is my own little server, and it is a wonderful way to get your FileMaker solutions hosted. And we don't need a result. We'll create another one, and we'll call that 2, and then we'll create a third one called 3. Now, what we're going to do is, here in FileMaker, one of the things that we have as an option is this ability to sort based on the creation order, the function name, or the custom order. What happens is, when Claris implemented in 22 our ability to then use folders, what happens is a script is being used as there's a flag somewhere underneath in the code that identifies it as a container for the other items. So this was a complaint, this going away, being able to sort, but we do still have this. I made mention of it in another video. You can always check out more videos over on FileMakerMagazine.com. In fact, subscription, well worth it. I mean, for less than an hour's worth of a junior dev, you have access to all kinds of code, information, insights, everything that I do for a full year. Wonderfully worth it. Okay, I have switched over to FileMaker 22 here. We'll get that on screen. So there we are. We're in 22, and we are going to open that file. Let's see if it actually shows up under the recents. It does not. So FileMaker, even though it shares the same preference file, its recent menu is different between 21 and 22. We will open up that file. There it is right there, functions. And we've got that, and we'll go into our manage custom functions. So what we have are the 3 functions. You can see that we do not have the ability to sort anymore, but we do have the search feature. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder down here at the bottom. This is our new option. So we've got our new folder, and I'm just going to call this container because it's going to contain some items. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1 inside of that container. Now, just like with the scripts, this is no different. This is, if I go, we're going to go open this in FileMaker 21, this is a custom function. It could have code, and we can see that by simply going over, and I'm actually going to have a couple of them. Let me create another folder. We'll call this another, just so that we can see what's going on. And we'll only do 1 level because it will make sense, and we'll put 2 into another. And so what we would like to do, actually, let's put 2 with another, and let's put 3 right there. We'll contain all of them, and we can put 1 more down at the root, and we'll just call this root. A root function right there, so that we can see what's going on. So in this, we have lost our ability. We can manually drag this, but we really don't have any ability natively in FileMaker to sort. Well, the first problem of not being able to sort, that's pretty much solved thanks to the MBS plugin. The MBS plugin has this submenu. We can see right here, MBS plugin. I don't have the current version as of the recording of this, but I do have this sort selection. Now, why Claris took this away, I don't know. They could have easily left the functionality there. It is only sorting by name in alpha order. You don't have the creation order. Only Claris or FileMaker knows underneath the hood the true creation order. But most commonly, what you really want is you just want the alphabetical order. So we can see what's going on by saying, okay, now, and we will go open this file over in FileMaker 11. So I don't know why I call it 11. That's 22. Let's switch over to FileMaker right here. And now we are in, Yep, we're in FileMaker 21 now. And so now we should be able to open our recent. And there it is, functions. That opens up, and we'll go into our custom functions and look at what's going on. All right, we can see the way that Clara solved this problem, or the way that they addressed it, was no different than they've done in the past. This is an actual script, a function. I can go into this, and I can actually put code because I'm in FileMaker 21. Look at that. That's really interesting. I didn't really test this, but you're getting the prompt right here where you can't use the dash dash. So underneath the hood, they're using some type of flag in order to identify that this is a container. Actually, I'm going to attempt to replicate in FileMaker 21 how it works in FileMaker 22. We can see that what we have is each of these dividers is the separator, but what identifies a folder is the name of the function directly after a divider. So you get a divider, then you get a function. Now, why another is up here and it does not have the divider, I don't know. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a little trick here, and I am going to duplicate this and say, okay. It will not let me here in FileMaker 11. I didn't actually try this before, but I did try creating a script and putting it into a folder in FileMaker 21. So we're just going to call this one 4. Don't need a result. And we're going to drag that into this location. Now, clearly, I can here use these options. I have not tried it. It would massively mess it up, I figure, if I rearranged these when I take this file over to FileMaker 22. But we'll say okay, and we're just going to see if a custom function named 4 is in my folder called container, where another is going to be containing 2 and 1, and I have 1 at the root. And these dividers, it'll be interesting. I haven't done this, but I'll rearrange the divider, go open it in the other, and see if internally that ID is actually being saved somewhere. So we'll switch over to the FileMaker 22. We should be able to go to our recent, open our functions, go to our custom functions, and there we have 4 was added to the container. So this is basically just a way that you can play with FileMaker and test around when they add new things. So what happens is we had our root, we had no little separator at this place, then we had the function another, then we had 2, 1, container, etc. Now, we are not going to be able to get into this. When we double click, it knows that the name of that is dash dash. But the name container is stored, because when we open it in 21, it is stored somewhere down in FileMaker's code, that actual value. Oh no, container was the one that was immediately following it. So it's just an interesting thing to me that we can actually do this. And so as a wrap up to this video, I'm just going to go destroy this file or see if I can destroy it, just because it's fun to do. We will open up the custom functions over here, and let's just see if we can mess this all up. Let's move all of these up to the top, and let's move this one over here, and let's go see what FileMaker 22 has to say about that. Close the file, switch over to FileMaker 22, go up to my recent, and open the functions, and look at that. So if you are working in multiple versions or multiple copies of FileMaker, and you have decided to start using folders, knowing that it's basically just the dash dash, which identifies the folder, or the fact that it's a container, and then the word or the function directly after that is actually the name of the function. So I don't know why I said that they're storing it internally, because there was a dash dash, which was a custom function, and then another function, which is the name of the folder. So you've got 2 additional functions just for containing whatever functions you want. And of course, here with this ability of being able to sort the selection, I can get this sorted how I want. Here in 22, it's actually the only saving grace. So the reason that I'm going to be using containers is because there are solutions that I open between the two, because I want the functionality of FileMaker 22 being able to use, especially the grouping feature, being able to add a group to or take an item out of a group without ungrouping it, which destroys attached hide functions. That's something that is super valuable to me. And so the hierarchy, you can play with this, see how it works for you, but that's just something I wanted to cover. Thought it was interesting. If you'd like learning FileMaker, then head over to FileMakerMagazine.com. Tons more videos. As always, I'd like to wish you much luck, and until next time, happy FileMaking.
We hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial, and we'd like to say thank you for your subscription and your support. If you're not already a subscriber, head on over to www.FileMakerMagazine.com/subscribe for more information about the benefits of joining.